Welcome to Nurse Life Happens. On this channel, we'll talk about nursing, DIYs, and daily life. Please subscribe and like. Today, we're going to do a DIY smoke-free fire pit and movie screen for the backyard. This is what our end goal is going to be. So let's go ahead and get working. So first we're going to locate the perfect spot in the backyard for our pit. Now we've had it, let's go ahead and check out what supplies we will need. All supplies will also be listed with location at below. So for supplies, we are going to need a 120-inch projector screen, 14 landscape timber, 20 concrete blocks, 6 wine barrels, 4 bags of cement, 6 2x4 lumber, 2 1x8 lumber, 1 fire pit ring, 1 54 feet solar string light, 1 gallon outdoor stain, 1 quart polyurethane, 1 small can oil stain, 256 square feet of landscape stone, 32 concrete wall block, 4 flat brackets, 4 L brackets, 40 construction screw, 4 Tiki torches, 12 plastic drop cloth, 4 paint brushes, 2 paint rollers, and 2 liquid nail. Now we've got our supply out the way. We're going to go ahead and take the first step, which is to stain the 8 of the 14 landscape timber with our outdoor stain. So we're going to stain one side and then follow through the next day. So make sure you put multiple coats and also do the edges. So now it's the next day. Let's go ahead and get some supply together. We're going to bring over our cinder blocks along with a couple wall blocks and 2x4s and painting supply. Now we're going to flip our landscape timber over and we're going to go ahead and stain the other side with multiple coats. Okay, so we want to protect this so that when it rains and I'm on the East Coast and snows, that our wood does not rot from the water. So we need to make sure we put multiple coats and we do the ends. Okay, so we're gonna let that we're gonna let that dry, and then we're gonna put it in the desired location once it's dry. Now it's sitting there to dry. Let's take a rest because it's hot. Now let's get back to work. So now in this instance, I am making the wrong decision of gluing my cinder blocks together. So I'm using the liquid nail to glue my cinder blocks together. The reason why it's the wrong decision is because it's far away from my project. Now once you glue these cinder blocks together, as you can see, they're really heavy and very hard to transport. So I would recommend that you wait a little bit later in the project once the foundation is set to do this part. But right here I'm doing it ahead of time because I did not know. Okay, so once you glue your cinder blocks together, you're going to put a stone on top of it and to compress it and help it dry. So now all my lumber are in location. We're going to go ahead and get our supplies together. Now I'm dropping the brackets around the area that we're going to go ahead and place the brackets. There is a flat bracket and the L brackets, so I dropped them in their location. Now I have my drill and my drop cloths. So these drop cloths I received from Dollar Tree, and we're going to use 12 of them. So we're going to make 3 layers, 3 protectant layers. So this is to protect the grass from coming up through our landscape stones once we place it. So instead of digging up the earth and digging up the grass and making a whole section for this to drop into, I decided to do it with a lazy man way and put plastic down. So what's going to eventually happen is that the grass is going to die and everything will be leveled, and I wouldn't have wasted time and energy digging it up. Okay, so I'm using these landscape blocks to weigh down my plastic, and like I said, we're going to put down 3 layers of this plastic. Okay, so 3 layers of the drop cloth. So you're going to need 12 of them, and like I stated, I got them from Dollar Tree. Okay, once we put those down, and we secure the landscape timber, we're going to also lift up the landscape timber and pull them out on the outside. So you want excess of the plastic to be on the opposite side of the timber. And later on, we're just going to cut the excess off. But you just want to make sure that up until the timber, there's no weed growing through later on. Just want to enjoy our space without have to do the maintenance of de-weeding. So now I'm screwing my brackets on to secure the lumber so it does not move, and I'm using my construction screw. The great thing with the construction screw is that you don't need to pre-drill any holes. It goes straight into the lumber, and these screws do not rot. Okay, so they cost a little bit more, but it's the best thing to use. So here's an example of what it looks like. This is the bracket, and the construction screws are in there. The reason we're using landscape timber is because it's cheaper than 2x4s. They're all 8 foot, but they're cheaper than 2x4s. Now I've got my 1x8 in the location where it looks like I want to put it. I use an empty liquid nail container to find the center of my pit, and I placed a ring around it with a couple of wall blocks. Okay, so this is what it looks like so far. I don't know if you can see, some part of the grass underneath the plastic is turning brown and dying. So now we're going to take our lumber and we're going to stain it. So the stain that I chose was Gunsmoke. Um, the color is Gunsmoke. We also glued 2 concrete blocks standing up on the back of the laid down concrete, and that is to use as a backrest, because as you can see, I didn't put my lumber through, and I'm sitting on it to make sure it doesn't wobble at different edge. So making sure everything was nice and even and the lumber fits. Now on the backrest, the lumber goes through, and the top lumber is slanted and glued in place with the liquid nail, and the bottom one runs through straight. Okay, for the bench, it's going to be the 1x8 and a 2x4 in the back. Okay, you're going to make sure you sand down the lumber to make it nice and smooth, because you don't want, when your friends and family come over, they get splinters from sitting on your DIY. So you want to make sure it's nice and smooth and perfect and safe. In the background, we see the wine barrel. I'll go over how I did that. Okay, so in just a minute, I'll go over the wine barrel. So as we sand, you're going to make sure you stain with the small can of stain. And once you stain the lumber, you need to make sure you protect it with the polyurethane. So a coat, well, multiple coats of polyurethane on top. Like 1 quart can will do everything multiple times. The stain on the landscape lumber, the gray stain that looks kind of black, that is an outdoor stain. So you don't need to do polyurethane on that, because that's already protecting the lumber and making sure that it doesn't rot. The small can of stain does not protect the lumber, it just gives it color. So you want to make sure you use the polyurethane on the whatever you use your small can of stain on. Okay, in the background you see the wine barrel with landscape timbers in them. That is made with cement. So you fill cement halfway up the barrel, and then you mix it with water, and you put your landscape timber in the center. Okay, and you let it sit for 24 hours. Make sure you put plastic, because this is outside, And you don't want it to rain and then your cement does not dry. Get excess water in it and it becomes unstable. So make sure you cover it with plastic so that it dries and your stick is nice and center and stands straight. This is what we're going to use for our string lights. Okay, there's a total of 6 of them. 2 are for the projector screen and 4 is for the lights. And once it's dry, you're going to go ahead and poke holes, at least 2 holes above the cement level. And once you poke the hole above the cement level, then you're going to put dirt and then you're going to put the plants in. Okay, the reason you're poking holes in the side of it, as you can see here, there's a hole, is so that when it rains, your plant does not drown because the water does not leak out. Okay, so that's why we put the holes in. Now, as you can see, um, my boyfriend helped me get my cement blocks over to the pit, and now I've learned my lesson and I'm gluing my cement blocks on my area. So that's what we should have done, what I should have done initially. Okay, so move everything, wait till the foundation was set, and then glue it in the area. So of course you need 5 for each section. 1 is going to be the backrest, and 4 is going to be glue down. So I know I'm gluing it standing up, making sure everything is level on the sides, nice and even. And then what I'm going to do to get it in place is, once it's dry, I'm just going to rock it back on the landscape timber and then go on the front of it and gently pull it over without ripping my plastic. Okay, so just be careful with the plastic while handling the cinder blocks. All right, so here we go. We're gluing this one because it's perfectly aligned across from the other one. And my 1x8 is in front of it where I know it's going to land. And so we're going to glue it and leave it there overnight. And in the morning, we'll rock it to the perfect location. And don't forget to put your stone. I use one off I use a landscape block that I have to help weigh it down so that it's compressed and the glue is spread in between the blocks so it has a solid hole. Okay? So make sure you do that. Now I'm going to go ahead and lay the wall blocks around the fire pit. So once you lay the wall blocks around the fire pit, you need to do a pattern because that's how we get it to be smoke free. So you're going to do 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to do half a space, and then 1, 2, 3. So half a block spacing, and then 1, 2, 3. The blocks doesn't have to be directly against the fire ring, at least 1 inch apart, because we're going to put landscape stones in the middle and in between. Okay, so the first 2 layers are going to be 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 space, 1, 2, 3 space. Okay, and then you don't stack them on top of each other. You kind of move the second layer of block halfway in between the 2 so that it looks like a honeycomb and it makes a pretty pattern. All right, so the second layer also is going to be 1, 2, 3 space. The third layer does not need any spacing because that's the top layer and that is the closing layer. So only the bottom 2 layer is going to need the spacing because the smoke is going to come out the bottom. That way it doesn't come in your face, because I know we've all experienced it where the smoke comes out the top and it's in our face and you have to move. So this prevents that from happening. So smoke will never bellow out your fire pit from the top of it. The smoke will have air circulation in the bottom and the smoke will come out the side. Okay, so do remember our light stand, the 4 light stands are going to be stained like the benches, and then 2 is going to use the outdoor stain on it to match the decor. The 2 outdoor stain stands are for the projector. Okay, remember that. Now I am staining the backrest blocks. The reason I'm saying it is not for protection, it's for aesthetics because I want everything, the chair to look like one solid piece so that when the beautiful gunsmoke color wood goes in, it looks um, beautiful. Okay. And when you do that, remember to do the inside of the cement blocks. Because if you don't do the inside, it's gonna not look so not so much please not I'm sorry, not look pleasing to the eye. So do remember to also do the inside of the blocks, okay? The reason I'm putting the outdoor stain on it, like I said, is for aesthetic, not that the cinder block needs protection. Okay? So, oh, my painting supplies I also got from the Dollar Tree for $1 because these things are not something that we can reuse after we finish using it. Might as well just throw it away. So, do not buy expensive one. Just use a cheap roller from the Dollar Tree. Um, I want to apologize because I am not conscious of the video. So there's many times in this video where I turn my back to the camera, and I just want to apologize. It's a one-man team camera, so I'm doing the project and recording myself at the same time via remote. So this is an instance where I turn my back to the camera, and I just want to apologize to you in advance, okay? So another tip, so landscape timber is cheaper than 2x4s, but it's not perfect for the bench. The bench is a 1x8 and a 2x4. So just to see, with two 2x4s going up the back. So I just want to point that out. The bench for seating is a 1x8 and a 2x4. Okay. The lighting that you see here, I've had the string lights I had from multiple summers ago. So that string light is going to be placed on the floor, and the 54 feet string light is going to go around on the poles. So just an example, the poles are to hold the light in. Okay. Now, landscape stone, I got that from a stone company, a landscaping company. Okay, not from Home Depot. To get the landscape stone from Home Depot would have cost me over $300, and from the stone company it was only $230. That was the most expensive thing that I purchased for this project. Now, the project took me 2 weeks to complete because I had to wait for delivery of the stone. Delivery of the stone, basically, I put a 10-foot drop cloth on my driveway and to deliver the stone. So this is what it looked like by the end of the night. The center is not painted and it doesn't look that great. The bench right now is not does not have polyurethane on it, but like I told you, the top lumber on the bench is going to be slanted. Okay. So remember to slant that and glue it in place. So right now, oh, stones are here. So that's my daughter bringing in the stone, and I guess she spilled it, so she's going to spend the rest of her time picking up stone out the grass. Like I said, the landscape company dropped the stone off. You just put a 10-foot tarp on your driveway. They drop it there. I don't know if they would have brought it in the backyard because I wasn't home when they brought it, but they dropped it there. I didn't know how to use a wheelbarrow. Plus, I didn't want to, it's like kind of hard to use a wheelbarrow, and I didn't want to spill all my stone in the grass. So it was easier just for me to tarp it over. And yes, good exercise. I must have dragged probably like 30 tarp of stone to the backyard to fill that in. And remember, we were putting stones inside the fire pit too. Okay? So do remember that. So now our project is finished, and I'm chasing down the steps to show you the end results. And here we go. Here we go. Ta-da! I love it. Everyone loves it. I even made tables from planters. Here is the two stands painted with the outdoor stain to hold up the projector, and the four stands painted. Remember to put polyurethane on those four stands, okay? Because you need to protect it so it lasts forever. And the top 2x4 is slanted here, and it's glued that way. In the back, the bottom one is straight. In our fireplace, you can see I have the holes. You see the holes in the two layers. In the center, I made like a small fire bowl, and that's what I use in the summertime. Now, for the fall, it will have the wood and remove the centerpiece. Okay, the centerpiece was only for color, so I lit in the center. But now fall is gonna come, and I'm gonna use my firewood that's in there. As you can see, there's no spacing, no holes in the top layers. Okay, and the stones are inside to support, so I didn't have to dig up the dirt to layer the stones. All right. The backdrop, the projector had piping pole to keep up the center. That didn't work, so I ended up building something that went straight across the top to help lift up the projector screen to make it a little bit wider. It's designed to like drop. This chair was for my deck. I'll probably show you guys how to make one because I'm gonna make a couple next summer so that everything is matched. Here is the bench with the polyurethane on it, and what happens is when it rains, the water does not get absorbed by the lumber, so eventually evaporate in the sun. So that's how you want it. A nice thick coat of polyurethane on it in all the nooks and cranny so that water cannot go in and expand in the wintertime and ruin your lumber, okay? And it gives it that beautiful shiny look. So this is the end result, guys. I hope you like it and I hope you try it. This was a very easy project. The hardest part was, of course, bringing the landscape stone in the back. I have the tiki torches, the string lights, our planter, tables, everything you need to have fun. Oh, the lights in the wine barrel came from the Dollar Tree too. They're outdoor solar lights, which is really cool. It makes it look really pretty. Oh, this is what it looks like from my neighbor's yard. They were spying and they recorded it. So the kids were about to watch animation. And this is what it looks like from my security camera in my backyard. And this is what it looks like from the deck. Thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for joining me at Nurse Life Happens. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.